What's going on, gamers? This is going to be a video just focused on me talking. Hopefully you enjoy the background. It's going to be about the PlayStation 6 launch, mainly, obviously, and about an Xbox fanboy who's butthurt, and he can't realize what he's saying is actually for Xbox Helix, which is funny. So some things that I actually want to bring up, obviously, is the price point. Will PlayStation 6 and Xbox Helix launch next to each other? Do you think that Sony is waiting to take Microsoft any sense of the word serious for the price reveal of the Helix, right? And will PlayStation 6 actually have exclusives, or will everything be cross-gen? Which I don't have a problem with, because the way that I see that, and I want you to think about that, is that it will be like the PlayStation 5 for the low-end PC, the PS5 Pro for the mid-range, and the PlayStation 6 for a high-end, from a PlayStation perspective, along with the PlayStation handheld being the portable option, and Sony trying to put the Nintendo spice up in there. Which, hey, go ahead and do that. What's wrong with that? Everybody else has tried it, and cough failed. Steam Deck, ROG Ally, which I don't even know if that sold a million. But are we ready to get into this? Become a member. Leave a tip down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Here we go. Hit that hype button too. So guys, all right. First thing I want to talk about is getting right to the salty comment. Now, here's the funny thing. We're just going to go to my page real quick, all right? If you look right over here on Retro Gamer's side, this guy made a comment basically saying, who cares? PlayStation 6 is dead on arrival, right? Let me see if I could actually be able to zoom in on this. Would it be closer? Okay, yeah, it kind of, this is actually cool. It does do that. So you see this. This is on the PlayStation 6 launch delayed by Sony CEO Hiroki Totoki. He says, who cares? PlayStation 6 is dead on arrival, right? And I said, you mean Xbox Helix? By the way, I replied like way later, right? Which is kind of funny. And the reason why I did this, so let's go ahead and focus back on me now, is because how could the PlayStation console historically ever be dead on arrival? You can say what you want about Sony. You can say what you want about the no disc, no buy. Yeah, we know that may hurt them just a little bit. But like Sony said, the people that are actually going to convert into digital only, that percentage alone is going to make up for whatever they lose. And it's actually very true. And most people are just going to keep on going. And they're always going to get new customers. So what I think about that is, like I said, you should be worried about your dead world. Xbox Game Pass failed. Xbox Cloud failed. And you begged everybody. Yeah, you begged everybody. Xbox hardware failed more than anything. Xbox exclusives are already failing. Look at Gears of War E-Day. Come on, you mean to tell me that's going to work and how much it cost? Clockwork cost $500 million. Do you really think that game's going to be successful? Who are those developers anyways? What have you done historically? Take the 360 era, bro. And everything that Microsoft did to try to convince you that everything was an Xbox failed significantly. Xbox ROG Ally failed. Xbox Series X and X generation failed. Halo is failed. The price hikes are more ridiculous than you've ever seen, and they're $100 to $150 more than their competitor, but their sales are garbage. Now Xbox Publishing is on the way to failing because this company doesn't know what they're doing. So all their plans failed. You never seen more Xboxes dead in your entire life during this generation. And you're going to sit here and try to do dead on arrival for PS6? Bro, get out of here. First and foremost, the PS6 is not going to be $1,000 either. Let's switch to this topic. Now we're past that clown. But Retro Gamer is a butthurt Xbox fanboy. So he comes on the channel along with some of those other losers that want to leave negative comments, say I'm Dreamcast guy too, and all that type of stuff. I'm like, okay, bro. No, I'm Michael. That's who I am. You know what I mean? Doing YouTube videos and enjoying it and enjoying roasting butthurt Xbox fanboys that are actually toxic, that just wake up every day to grift and gloat over the failures of Xbox and overhate on PlayStation and then Nintendo after that. PC's okay because they have to migrate there. Kind of feel bad for some of the PC world. You're gonna have to deal with that low IQ behavior. But hey, you know, that's what it is. But getting to the price, Sony already let you know today that we're not even like internally finalized together on a release date. We still don't know what that is at the moment because of hardware pricing, component costs. And when somebody tells you that, you should get a deep introspection into where you're actually at and you're thinking about it. Okay, if we want to think about this release date, we need to, get everything up and going. He didn't say that we're getting ready, like I told people before, to get the prototype dev kits out to developers. That's when you know it could be getting close to next year, but it's like, nah, you might hear about that next year, like next summer or something. But even then, if the market is worse, Sony's going to have to wait. I'm telling you, and I try to tell people, at the earliest, 2028. You're not going to see PlayStation 6 come out in 2027. You could dream all you want. That would also be suicide. That's why I would say, okay, PlayStation 6 is going to be in trouble. But it's still PlayStation. It sells. Sony moves hardware. They've always been a hardware company more than anything. This isn't anything new here. Everybody should know this. Microsoft is not a hardware company. They weren't even smart enough to get their base out of China during the tariff war going on. You see what I mean? They had to take all that time to do that and then move over to the Vietnam world. Nintendo did that years ago. Sony finally did that, not too long ago, obviously way before Microsoft, and they had a base in USA. Nintendo and Sony, when it comes to gaming, are significantly more intelligent than Microsoft. Sony is actually making sure the PlayStation 6 launch is going to be fine. The pricing is going to be fine. You see? They're not going to sell it more than $800, I'm telling you. If they can get it underneath cheaper than that, that would actually be amazing. Considering what it's going to cost to get a PC for those equal specifications. It's like, what? So that's what I kind of think when I'm thinking about the price. It's like, Sony's taking this very serious. They have to. Remember, I told you guys before in that one video that PlayStation 6 has to be successful. PlayStation 6 needs an identity. PlayStation is now 60% of the Sony company. So they can't afford to have PlayStation 6 do bad. They have to get this right. Now, here's another topic I want to talk about, though. We got past the Xbox fanboy, and we talked a bit about the pricing. And that's if Sony is going to do PlayStation 6 exclusives at launch. Historically, PlayStation has always had exclusives at launch for their next platform, right? And I'm looking at the PS6, and I'm like, historically, this is something different compared to every other generation. The closest thing you could possibly compare the PlayStation 6 launch to, when you're thinking about it, though we still know it's far away, but you can still kind of look into the future, is probably PS3, right? Because you're thinking that, man, this may seem like a PS3 situation at first. The PS3 had a hell of a comeback, but didn't hit 100 million. And it still destroyed Xbox. Difference this time is that Xbox Helix ain't no Xbox 360. No. Xbox hardware is cooked. It's pretty much done. So is Sony going to take that courageous leap of faith, Assassin's Creed style, coming down? We're not doing that on camera, though. I don't want to end up having people laugh at me all over. No, we're not doing that in general, though, unless I do a front flip without hands somehow. No, Adrian's not doing it. But anyways, let me stop clowning. Is Sony going to take that leap of faith and have some PS6 only games to where it's like, this is why you want to get a PlayStation 6? Because it's going to have to be more than power. Like Spider-Man 3, the next Kratos God of War, something like that, right? It's going to have to be like some big power game. It can't be like something like some Soros or something like that. No, it has to be something where it's like, this will sell PlayStation hardware and sell out. And it will be selling the whole entire generation and reach like 20 million sales or something like that. It's going to have to be something like Spider-Man 3. So that's why I think when I think about the PlayStation 6, are you going to do exclusive, Sony? And if so, how are you going to do this? Are you going to do AA and not just AAA, big flagships? Are you going to do like some money hats that you're only going to want to have on PlayStation 6 that don't exist on PC to show off the power of the PS6? And have some like next gen features, like you had the touchpad with like haptics feedback and all that type of stuff. What is Sony going to do next with that, with their exclusives that is kind of like tied into their system? Because that's something Nintendo does very well. And then you're like, well, if they have the handheld coming out around the PS6, wouldn't that kind of like take attention from it? Or do you think that Sony's going to release the handheld after the PS6? A lot of these things are in question right now. Like, yeah, are you going to do exclusives for PS6 only, right? We know that it's going to be only in the PlayStation ecosystem where it's like, no, this is still going to be on PS5 because I need those sales. Whereas like back then, when you move to a new console, you have to get that console to play all those games that are coming out for it specifically. This, I think, is going to be the difference between PlayStation 6 and Xbox Helix, period, is that there's no PlayStation games that are coming to Steam, and none of them are ever going to Xbox, except like certain games Sony wants, like if they make a Helldivers 3 or something. You know, that's different because you're not going to want to pass that up on Steam. Trust me, you're going to want that on Xbox too. But even then, Microsoft is going to be irrelevant, and you get ready to make a Switch version or something. You know what I mean? But I want you guys to let me know what you think. Do you think that Sony's going to have PlayStation 6 exclusives right off the bat, or maybe they're going to wait for it to sell more and then try that? I think that there's going to be a hybrid approach that's going to be thought about very seriously, for sure. We don't want them to do a Jim Ryan where it's like everything's going to be from the ground up and then you find out certain games are going cross-gen too, because Microsoft admitted that's going to happen. They didn't have no exclusives at launch, right? Because there has to be a reason to get a PlayStation 6 as a console gamer, other than like, I just want to buy a more powerful piece of hardware. Definitely got a PS5 Pro, but that's a small percentage compared to all the people that have the base models. And some of them still on PlayStation 4, probably, right? So that's why I think that is an important topic to actually cover, because that means something along with the price. Like, what? In this game, like, there's no PC game that looks this good. If somehow Sony shared their PlayStation 6 multiplayer game with me, because they said they were sharing some multiplayer games, not single players, I better have the PC to be able to run that. It's going to be different next gen, because PlayStation 6 is going to be so powerful that all PC fanboys are going to be threatened, because you're going to have to upgrade your rig to play some of those games at equal PlayStation 6 settings. The whole game changed with PSSR 2 and PlayStation 5 Pro. Tell me I'm not talking nonsense. Yeah. Tell me I'm talking nonsense, right? You know, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, no, bro. Hold on. We're going to get both. But still, here's the thing. Like, tell me AGN's not spitting facts. The PS6 generation is going to change the whole game. Xbox is going to be all over, OEMs, PC, all that. It's going to make it to where now 90% of PCs are going to be weaker than the PlayStation 6. And you're going to be able to play every single game way better than you would on a PC that's dedicated only to gaming with those specifications for that price, and get all their exclusives and still get Xbox games. Playing better than 90% of the PC gamers. This is something that I don't think PC gamers are thinking about right now. That's why I say the PlayStation 6, you can look at it how you want. Watch some PC gamers come in there and buy it. Not the Xbox fanboys, and some of them might, you never know. I'm telling you, just think about it. If that pricing is to where it's like, it may not have to spend $600-700 more to even try to get a PC close to this. Maybe $1,000. Because Nvidia's, I don't think they're going to stop being anti-consumer. And Sony's subsidizing for like $150 or something, or $200. And then the market crashes and goes down. They may even make a PlayStation 6 Lite model. We don't know that yet. There just might be. You never know. But maybe that's what the PS handheld is for in a different way. But the thing is that it's like, we need to really think about this. Sony's innovative futures too, like next-gen controller, dashboard, UI, the way the store works, what type of programs are they going to have, what type of cloud features are you going to get that's actually going to make things impressive, how are they going to change up the PlayStation Plus extra premium system, is there going to be something better than share play, like what futures are you thinking you're going to see there? How are they going to have the mic features in the controller? Is going to be a lot more better where you wouldn't even need a mic. You see? One thing historically I've always liked about PlayStation 2 is that the controllers never needed batteries. They were well designed. So, and then I think we're going to be getting like 4K 60 and 4K or 1440p 120 streaming. We already have that for recording. But I think the streaming features are also going to be taken to the next level. And that's going to be important for content creators such as myself. So these topics are the topics that I think are important, and also what needed to be covered in this video, as I was trying to tell you. Those are some things that I wanted to actually cover. And I want you guys to let me know what you actually think about that, because Sony has to make PlayStation 6 attractive. And I know they have a lot of great ideas that they still probably haven't shared. And we've saw some snippets of certain things too. While, like, I don't know if you guys remember last year, they said they're probably working on something to help all developers develop games better. And will there be an optional disk drive to the side for that small crowd that, you know, wants that? I think they should just do that. Just do it. Put it there. You can still do your 2028 full digital. You're going to do that. But things before that, just make it to where that support is there, Sony. And have official ones and make money off of it. Why not do it? So, yeah, guys, this is pretty much the video that I wanted to do for PlayStation 6 because I've been wanting to actually do it. Now, talking about Xbox Helix, I could actually make a separate video for that, but I can add in some things. Like, I just feel like no matter what they do, it's just not relevant. And there's nothing you can do about it. Like, because the Xbox brand is so diluted and damaged, and that they don't have any support in Europe or in Asia. Can't just say Japan. And nobody's interested. That there's only like a market in America, pretty much. Like, you always take a look at sales and see that easily. They even said they were pulling out of Europe. Matthew Ball said, I mean, if we're going to go to Europe, just get our games on PC. That's your best bet. And in Japan, you have to be on PC because they're Nintendo land. So it's basically that in a sub-market for PlayStation. You see, so when you think about Xbox Helix competing, there's no worldwide competition anymore. Because when the Xbox Helix generation actually starts, they're not making consoles for Europe. And none for Asia. Like, you got to think about that handicap market. And it's going to be way more expensive than the Xbox Series generation. And more expensive than the PlayStation 6. And it's going to be the same thing where you have all these devices all over the place. And it's not going to be to build a huge base. So that's why I say that, like, no matter what, Xbox Helix to me is just like some side niche luxury option for gamers. And mainly Xbox fanboys or Xbox hardcore gamers. If you have a PC already, though we know that's a low percentage in those specifications, but in a few years from now, a lot of people could probably upgrade to something like a 7060, you know what I mean? And it's going to beat most cards easily. So, like, that's my take on that. I don't have a lot to say about Xbox Helix because I feel like I can make a separate video about that because there's a lot to talk about with it. But yeah, I want you guys to give me your take on some of those topics we just covered. Definitely starting off with that Xbox fanboy talking about Dead on Arrival. You should not be talking about anything, Dad, because that's all in the Xbox world. PlayStation's a living ecosystem. You know what I mean? It's successful. Nintendo's a living ecosystem. Steam's a living ecosystem. Xbox, it's like half-baked at best. So there it is. Become a member for $3. Leave a tip down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. As usual, AGN bringing you 3 videos a day. Trust me, it's not easy. You got to get creative. You got to think about all these different topics. And you got to make it interesting. That's why sometimes we got to do a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of salt farming, a little bit of provoking, and a little bit of console warring here and there, and then covering nothing but articles. When's the last time you see me actually do a react? You know what I mean? I'm making videos consistently covering topics. My channel's changed big time. Though reacts could be fun, but I'm just saying. But all right, y'all. Peace out. Keep on gaming. No matter what platform you're on or app.